on the old YouTube, and then I'll post the links quickly. I think we are live this morning. Hello, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Brandon Hauk.
Good afternoon.
Oh, yes, that's right. We just talked about this, that it's not morning.
1:48 in the afternoon here in Alberta. It's been, yeah.
I was explaining to Brandon how I didn't get a full night's sleep. I was up and down 15 times, making sure that I had heat in the house. So I finally got up around noon today. So it feels like morning to me because I'm not the morning person you are, Brandon, but
No, feels like dinner time for me.
yeah, you're getting ready to go to bed. But I do like the mornings. Okay, so I got the link here finally. Took me a second. If you are feels like morning to me. If you are new to the broadcast, please hit like, subscribe, share. I'm Joey Only. This is Brandon Hauk. We're here in Western Canada. I'm in Wells, British Columbia. If you are new to this channel, which is a quaint little town up in the mountains here at 53 degrees north, about 2 hours drive from Prince George. Brandon's down there in Brooks, Alberta, where he just broke a cold weather record. I'm just sharing the link right now to try to get some people to watch, because that's helpful, especially because I'm currently unable to post to my own weather group, which is very frustrating during what I would call a potentially lethal cold snap. Eh, Brandon?
Yes. Bitterly cold snap. I just got, I just had French toast and mimosas here.
That's typical Brandon, eh?
Yeah.
Neither of those things would I consume.
And then I was outside and I froze a t-shirt that I don't wear and I threw it around the yard this morning. That's what I was doing.
Okay. So here's the first thing to look at. I mean, this doesn't include all the stories going on in the United States. So this is continent-wide. But here we go is winter weather warnings practically everywhere, except for maybe the most likely place, Northern Ontario, where some very severe weather comes sometimes when these kind of storms happens. And they've had their turn, but right now not so. So we still have these cold weather warnings going on. 20 to 30 below expected for north central coast here in the Cariboo. Bitterly wind chills, minus 40 to 45. Temperatures between 30 and 40 degrees Celsius. I don't think that, well, we might see 30 again tonight here in Wells. We might. It's not out of the question. I feel like we've turned the corner a little bit with the cold here. Certainly it's only like minus 20 or something right now. Last time I checked. I went outside and got wood, and it didn't. I can handle 25 walking out in my hoodie and standing out there for 5 minutes and doing stuff. Something about 32 to 35. That's like you turn the corner there. And I walked out into the woodshed the other night and spent about 40 seconds loading up my arms, and I started shivering so badly. I was like, man, it would not take you long to get killed in your own woodshed. You have a little spill. Bitterly wind chill values near minus 35 still in South Thompson, Smokemead, Fraser Canyon, and even Vancouver. Risk of frostbite and hypothermia there. Wind chill values near minus 20 going on. I don't really care for the idea of wind chill values. I prefer to talk about real temperatures, but however, sometimes it's helpful. Minus the 2030 wind chill values in Pemberton, Squamish, Sea to Sky, Highway, Hope Sound, up in South Peace River. What do we got here? Now through the weekend, 40 to 45 wind chill values. There was some crazy wind chill going on. I looked at Estevan, Saskatchewan last night, and it was 34 there, and there was 43 kilometer an hour gusts being reported. That would put you in the category of minus 60 wind chill if I believed in wind chill.
Let's see here.
I kind of believe in wind chill.
Yeah, they're minus 32 now, and winds out of the west northwest 39, gusts to 50. So that makes a wind chill of minus 49.
That is very strong.
So very strong. At least they had wind chills. Looks like at least the minus 50s from what I see. Yeah, minus 50s earlier today.
So that's last night I was looking at sometime around 9 o'clock at night when they're getting some into the 40s reported wind gusts. And it was 34 at that same time. So I did the old calculator. You can go to the wind chill calculator. Again, I don't really believe in wind chill. You know? Do you know what I'm saying, Brandon? It's not an exact science, this wind chill thing. Like air temperature is an exact measurement.
It is, yeah. Wind chill is it's like let's say blowing on a hot bowl of soup, and that's how you cool it down. That's kind of same kind of principle with wind chill. But especially when you're out in the prairies, when you're in the mountains and you're kind of protected by the trees and you're protected by forests and stuff like that, wind chill's not. I don't think wind chill's not that much of a big factor there. But when you're out in the middle of the prairies and there's nothing to protect you, and you've got 40K winds blowing at you at minus 34 degrees, that's when it can get quite dangerous.
It seemed like we maybe had 10-kilometer-hour winds being reported in the Caribou last night. So it was cold, and definitely that will add a little bit. That'll help frostbite you up. It'll help frostbite you up. The reason I don't like wind chills too is because people will use the wind chill, the memory of a wind chill, as the actual temperature. Right?
Yeah,
So be like, oh yeah, back then it was minus 50, man, but we put up with it. Like, no, it was not minus 50. Because that rarely ever happens. It did happen in Alberta, though.
No, it did. It did. Last night, it sure did. Yeah. So yeah, with wind chill, it's not, as you say, it's not the actual temperature, but it is. It is a measurement. That's one thing. I hear other radio stations, they always go by the wind chill instead of the actual temperature. I pulled my hair out for that. If I know who the radio host was, I'd be messaging them, hey, here's, yeah. So I know what you mean on that part, but I always make sure when I'm reading the temperatures and stuff when I do radio, especially on radio, because that's a little different than YouTube and TV and stuff. I always make sure I have the actual temperature and then that wind chill, what it feels like, and then yeah.
At Shamattawa, Manitoba, which is pretty close to Joe. He's just outside the cold weather warning, and they still got that 50 to minus 4. I like this, though. It says here, keep extra blankets and jumper cables in your car. And they're telling people up in Shamattawa, Manitoba, how to survive the cold weather. Some Environment Canada guy writing wherever he is. They know better than you, buddy. They know better than you up there. Still, wind chill value is minus 40 on that west flank there of Lake Superior if you go to Fort Francis sort of area, and on that 11 and 17 towards Manitoba. Okay, we got different weather stories finally. That was a whole country, half a country worth of cold, but here we got 15 to 50 centimeters. 15 to 50 centimeters by Monday evening. That lake effect snow. So what happens is probably Lake Huron's mostly open. It is open. They've not had very much winter there. And you got some cold air coming across that warm water body. And I've been in Hamilton, Ontario back in 1999 when like 6 feet of snow fell in 2 days, man. And Mel Lastman called the army into Toronto, and people were laughing about it. You know, people across Canada like, oh, calling the army in for some snow. But unless you live next to one of these Great Lakes and experience this lake effect snow event, you don't understand. You don't get snowfalls like that in other parts of inland Canada, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they canceled the Buffalo Bills game tomorrow, the football game, for that. Lake effect snow.
They've canceled the Brooks Bandits hockey game today.
Yeah, and tomorrow. Yeah. So their buses aren't running.
It's too cold for hockey.
Too cold for hockey here. Yes.
Holy man. Well, Alberta's never said that before.
Well, we could play a hockey game here in Brooks, but yeah, we couldn't travel, I guess. Yeah, that's the thing.
And it's not safe to.
Yeah.
It's not safe to. Any issue out there on the highway can have disastrous consequences. Just short of where Mom's place is, 15 to 40 centimeters there. Peak snowfall rates of 3 to 5 centimeters an hour. That's crazy, eh?
Oh yeah,
coming down hard at there. It's 5 centimeters an hour. 20 to 40 centimeters up Snow Squall Watch, Bayfield Inlet, Dundurn, Church, Ontario. So that's all that area just off North Georgian Bay. And you got the 11 highway here, and then this guy here goes up to Parry Sound. Beautiful, beautiful area. All this across that whole central part of Ontario is absolutely fantastically beautiful. People have no idea why Algonquin country is so popular and why cottage country is so popular. All the lakes. It's a really fantastic part of part of the world. Snow squall watch is also for down south. Same kind of thing, 20, 40 centimeters. Tilsonburg, Oxford, in Tilsonburg, in Tilsonburg. 5 centimeters are coming to you, Tilsonburg. That's not too bad. 90 to 100 kilometer gusts and winds off Lake Erie, Dunnville, Caledonia, Haldeman, and that, of course, will apply to Buffalo, like Brandon's saying, which is just down here in the corner. One of the most awful cities I ever visited, but it's been 20 years, so maybe it's improved. I doubt it. 110 kilometers, 80 to 90 kilometers. Of course, it has Cleveland, Ohio beat. Cleveland's a place no one goes for vacation. 15 to 25 centimeters for Picton Sandbanks. Excellent. Sandbanks Park right here, Brandon. Right at the end, there's a Sandbanks Park right down here. And it's a great camping, great beach. It's like looking out at the ocean. Lake Ontario's so big. And I've seen some incredible thunderstorms come in there.
Nice.
And the Sandbanks Park itself, it's like sand dunes like you'd see in the Sahara Desert or whatever, right? Winter storm warning, 15-25 centimeters in Quebec for Saint Michael de Saint, Parent area, Quebec, and Bay Paul area. Storm surge warning. There you go. So got high tides going on. Intense low pressure from Texas will cause strong to high winds over the mentioned areas, and that will increase the water levels. So that's not terribly my interest because I'm not really an ocean person. And we're almost through all the warnings going on in Canada right now. It's a lot. 25 to 40 centimeters of snow from Minjani, Quebec, and at Anticosti, 15 centimeters of snow there, 90 kilometers an hour. I'm not really sure what Acosti is, Brandon, and why they are against it.
I don't know.
And same with the Gonish. They're against Gonish is there too, out east.
Oh, yeah.
That's Antigonish. Antigonish.
Antigonish.
Wreck house wind warning going on in south west corner Newfoundland as 140 kilometer an hour winds. So there you go. Wreck house wind warning, 80 to 100 kilometers an hour up and down that entire coast. So as that storm begins to touch them, they will be feeling it. And over at Frankie's place, 90 kilometers an hour winds. So wind warnings all
and
up and down.
Lace sweat winds as well, gusting 160 on the other side of the Cape Breton there.
Right.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Thank you for the catch. 180.
180 now. Oh yeah.
Holy man.
I'll sweep you clean off the road.
Are you kidding me? How often have you seen a 180 kilometer forecast?
Oh, I've seen
outside of a hurricane or something.
Oh, I've seen it before, yeah. On the
not too often.
Not too often, but yeah.
That's the thing. Not too often. 180 is crazy. That's definitely much more than hurricane strength. So that's the battle board for today. Man, there's a lot going on in Canada. That's absolutely crazy. So here's what I want to talk to Brandon about, especially.
Oh yeah.
Here's the Alberta weather set. The coldest spot in Alberta, 49.3 Keg River.
I think I have to change that to minus 51 later today, so I've got the numbers for that part. So.
Well, did that minus 51 happen?
Minus 50.1 earlier this morning. Yep.
Was it in today or is it last night before midnight?
I think it's today. Yeah, this morning. When they get the official numbers later today.
Okay, so these aren't all. These might be adjusted. Adjusted.
Those numbers will be likely adjusted.
Well, the coldest place in all Canada was in Keg River, Alberta, and
but definitely Keg River with the wind today.
If you've never been to Keg River, get the steaks. It's really great.
Oh yeah,
an expensive place.
Get a salad, baked potato to go along with that too.
Yeah,
good to go.
These purples all are records.
Not all, I don't think, because there's some that only go back to like 1990, and then there's some that go back to, and then they have other stations that don't show on this graphic here. So, but typical. I know there is a weather summary. I guess, weather summaries in there that does have the records from yesterday on there. I don't think they've updated their. I know I think BC's are in there.
I was going to look at that next. Here you are, Brooks. Record.
But we did break a record low this morning here. And the old record goes back to, what was it that I found? I think it's 1957. Minus 40 back in 1957 for us. was the old record. And yeah, we got to minus 42.0 so far.
Now
Not
you
the
look at
official number, but pretty close to it.
all these 40s, and that's not wind chill temperature. That's dead
Oh, yeah.
air temperature.
Dead air. I went
43 at
outside
Cold
in
Lake.
that, and I felt like I looked like I was a chain smoker out there. It was all like, with my breath as I was talking. That's all I can see was my breath going.
45 at Edmonton Airport. Edmonton Airport had been off and on the coldest place during this snap, I'd say, right?
Yeah,
And I don't mean all the time, but if you like look hour by hour by hour, a lot of hours, the coldest place was Edmonton,
yeah.
especially at that open windswept airport. Would have been just awful there. Lots of 45s still too.
Oh, yeah.
Farintosh. I don't even know where that is. There's a place in Alberta. I don't know where it is. 46.3 in Forestburg.
Yep. And
45 in
I believe,
Haramuka. 45.9 in Holden.
yep.
46.8 in Kessler. We got a
And then
47 in Leedale.
47 in Killam as well this
That will
morning.
kill
I
him.
had a wind chill
40,
of minus 58 on top of that. So with that wind,
47.7 in Manning.
oh yeah,
So I'm just like calling out everywhere above 45. And there's a lot. There's a lot.
oh yeah.
Rosemary, 46. 45.3 in Ribstone South.
Rosemary
Ribs.
is just north of my house actually here. So
Speaking of ribs, did you know that that the French pronounce write Korean Korean?
oh no, I did not
Yeah,
know that.
I think that's funny, and it just always got to be different. Korean. That's some beef short ribs, Korean beef short ribs that got pulled out. I want them to thaw in here, but that's gonna take a long time. Three Hills, 45.8. Actually, what I'm gonna do is throw them in the frying pan and slowly cook them down and add some eggs.
Oh, nice. Yes.
But my water lines are frozen, so that's that. Before we go back and look at yesterday, let's have a look at BC today so far too.
Yeah.
Uh, ooh, Berlin at 7.7.
-7.
Suck it up,
Look at that.
buttercups. So lots of 20s today. Princeton 36. That's a little bit surprisingly harsh down there. 40 reported at Sparwood Airport right now.
Yep.
Today.
It was, and then yeah, they even had a wind chill of -50 as well today. So it's -40 as I was looking at the readings this morning. I was like, whoa, Sparwood.
As for yesterday, though, let's look at some of the 40s in BC. Burns Lake hit 40 yesterday. Oh, look at this. 10, 6. And some of these numbers aren't that bad, you know? But Puncie, 48.4. I got people in Puncie who've got photographs of their thermometer reading in the 50s. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's not official because that's people's thermometers in it. But, that's how it goes is that you have your official weather station, and then you have people living all around it whose thermometers may say different things than what it says at the official weather station. However, our official records are what the weather station says.
Mm-hmm.
So whether your home thermometer said 53 or not, that's interesting, but it's not usable data, if you know what I mean. Tatlioco Lake hit 40, so the Chilcotin got her good. Yoho 41, so some 40s last night for sure. For sure. They don't even have Quesnel on here. Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
35. That sounds right. Yeah, we got about we were
Quesnell's on there.
in mid
There's
35s
two of
last
them.
night.
There's Quesnel Airport, and then in Quesnel, you guys got two stations. Nice. Yeah, Grand
Alberta,
Prairie was not 1 degree, by the way, yesterday. I can confirm that.
I bet. Everywhere below 45 yesterday. Bow Valley,
Oh yeah.
Busby. Yeah, it's bad when you're looking for the 45s. You're like, and the rest of the numbers just seem kind of irrelevant. You're like 35.
Yeah. Yeah,
And you're
look at the Grand Prairie one, 1.2 and then -40. Two, minus 43.
Yeah, and it didn't break a record. But yeah, that 1.2 is obviously an error.
Oh yeah.
Most obviously Hendrickson Creek 46. You have a lot of reporting stations in Alberta. It's nice. 45
Oh yeah.
in La Glace, 48 Leadale, 46.8 Manning.
Makes my job easy here in Brooks with all of our reporting stations. We have like at least 10 of them around the county here. 10 of them.
That's fantastic. And we have nothing like that here, which is why I started doing what I do. TP Creek
Oh,
46.
we just got a blizzard warning issued in Manitoba.
Oh, really?
Let's see where they issued that. Churchill just issued it
Oh,
2 minutes ago or 1 minute ago here. So we'll
I
get
have
the
to,
update here shortly.
I have to, people are messaging me. It drives me crazy. I'm trying to think. Not because I don't appreciate it, because I'm trying to think.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Here we go, Joe. Joe Stover. And it doesn't even say anything. It just says potentially bad weather coming.
Yep.
This actually drove me nuts this summer. And I'll explain this quickly. So we had a severe thunderstorm warning get issued in the Caribou when I was out on a fire.
Yep.
And so there's the initial thing that Environment Canada says. They put it up and they don't even tell you where the storm is or what it's near or what it's doing.
Oh yeah.
It just says severe thunderstorm warning, Caribou. So then we got over the radio, severe thunderstorm warning for the Caribou, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, how come nobody, not even Environment Canada, but even nobody at Fire Center is just taking a quick peek at radar and saying, hey, by the way, the storms are in this region.
Mm-hmm.
So we had weather turning weird, and I had no idea if this was the severe storm coming in or not. No, we were catching flanks, and nothing that interesting actually happened, just some really heavy winds. But you're out in the wilderness, it's like, come on, just give us some details. Back to Alberta's misery. 46 in TP Creek. We were talking about TP Creek. So there we go. Willow, Jasper Creek. Willow Creek, Jasper National Park, 45.9. So Jasper never got its minus 50. That
Nope, but one place did today, at least.
Somebody did.
Oh yeah.
Somebody did. Yeah, do you have anything you want to show before I move on to other stuff here?
Oh. As in, oh, the records from yesterday. Yeah, we can go to weather information if you've been there before.
Or if you want me to.
Or I can go there, I guess.
Yeah, do that. It gives me a second to line my next things up.
Okay. So I can do that. I'll just do this. I gotta take a look, see if they updated the weather records. Because unless they're probably waiting until tonight's temperatures to drop before they put today's records in. But you see there's their temperatures. Look at that, minus 32 is their temperature right now.
And screen share hasn't come up yet. Give it 1 second.
Okay, should shortly.
There it goes. Starting to. There you go.
So these are the weather records from yesterday. Yes, yesterday. Hold on. Pull up to the top. Okay, there we go. So those are the weather records from yesterday. I probably won't read them all. You see Banff broke a record yesterday. Brett broke a record. Camrose.
Well, some of these are substantial breaks too. Those are the ones I wouldn't
yeah.
mind if you do take a second to read. Like, okay, so Camrose broke it by 1.5 degrees. That's okay. Then you go back up a little ways. There's ones where it broke the record by like 10 degrees and things like that.
Oh yeah,
right?
Bow Valley. New record minus 45. The old record minus 39 back in 1950. And then this one from Banff here, minus 40 was the new record. The old record minus 39.4 back in 1916. Records being kept since 1887. So
well, and even that Breton one since 1939, that's like 8 degrees.
Old record minus 35 back in 1970.
So that's smashing a record.
Oh yeah, smashing a record. And then Cardston minus 40, old record minus 34.2 back in 1998. They've kept records since 1918. Players home minus 39, old record minus 34 back in 1997. Old records being set since 1951. And then what's another here? Rose Nest Pass minus 40. Old record minus 38 back in 1998. 1998 was a cold year. Drum Heller minus 40. Minus 41. Old record minus 39 back in 1974. Well done, Drum Heller. Oh, Edmonton. Of course, Edmonton International Airport did break a record. Old record minus 39.4 back in 1969. The record was minus 46 degrees Celsius yesterday. That was a cold start at the Edmonton International Airport. And then Edson, minus 43. Old record minus 38.3 back in 1969. And Elk Island, minus 41. Old record minus 37 back in 1998. Another one from 1998. It's the Esther area. Port Chippewa even broke a record, not minus 46. Old record minus 44 back in 1994.
I see a post in Weather Watchers that Penticton, BC at 27.6 broke a record set in 1968, and that's the coldest temperature ever recorded in the city. The records have been kept there since 1907. So I'm sure there's quite a bit of that in BC too, the coldest temperatures ever recorded.
We'll scroll down to BC as well.
Continue. I just happened to, as I was going through, just happened to have that post come up on my Facebook.
Okay.
And as I'm setting up my next thing.
Rocky Mountain House, Stavely, Stettler, minus 42, 1998, the old record there. Stony Plain, Strathmore broke a record. Sundre, minus 45, old record, minus 40 back in 1998. Tabor broke a record, minus 39, record minus 37 back in 1997. Three Hills, minus 42, old record minus 37 back in 1950. Bakerville broke a record. Wainwright minus 42, old record minus 38 back in 1998. Waterton Park area minus 44, old record minus 38 back in 1998. And then, so these are the daily records for Thursday as well. So there's some records from Thursday. And then here's British Columbia. All right. This is a long stream. All right. So Abbotsford broke a record yesterday.
Bella even.
Bella, minus 7.
That's like record. That's like practically in the middle of the ocean.
Yes. Blue River broke a record yesterday. Well, minus 23. Old record minus 22. Castlegar broke a record. Minus 14 yesterday. Record minus 11. And Clinton broke a record, minus 25. Old record, minus 18, 2017. Comox broke a record as well. Cranbrook, minus 23. Old record, minus 22. Preston, minus 17. Old record, minus 15. Back in 1916, that's a long time ago. Wow. Duncan, minus 7. Old record, minus 4. Hope broke a record, minus 15. Yesterday, old record minus 13 back in 1971. Lytton minus 18, minus 19 is the new record. Old record minus 18 back in 1971. The Mackenzie minus 26. Old record minus 25 back in 19. Hold on. Why did that do that? Went back to Alberta. Okay, hold on. Scrolled back up. No, you're not supposed to look at these. Let's look at Alberta's one. All right. Where was I? Hope. Yeah. Lytton, Mackenzie, Malahat broke a record as well.
That's very cold for Malahat, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Masset area, Merritt, minus 24. Old record, minus 20 back in 1993. Nakusp broke a record. Nanaimo, Osoyoos, Penticton, there's minus 19. Penticton, minus 18.6. Old record, minus 15 back in 1909. Records being kept since 1907 in Penticton, BC. Princeton broke a record, minus 25. Old record, minus 24 back in 1911. Records there being kept since 1893. And the Puncy Mount area, yes, they did break a record yesterday. They probably broke one today.
Oh, I think they
smashed one today.
Yeah, I think the final number for Puncy will be 10 and maybe 20 degrees lower than that in value.
Yeah. So this was yesterday's record, so not including today, but yeah, yesterday they broke a record as well. And I would say you broke a record today in Punxsy Mountain. Coquitlam Beach, -6. And Sparwood, oh, I think they broke a record today too, probably. 27 yesterday. Old record -22 back in 1971.
Because it was 40 this morning in Sparwood.
Yeah. Squamish, they broke a record. They probably broke a record today too. Halateco. Oh, I probably said that name.
Tatlayoko.
Takieko Lake.
Tatlayoko.
Takieko.
Tatlayoko.
Takieko. All right.
Tatla.
Tofino broke a record.
Tatla.
Real.
You'll get it.
I'll get it one day.
That's one of the most beautiful places there is in planet Earth, man. Tatlayoko Lake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Chilcotin, giant mountains, pristine lake. You know, there's something
Yoho
about
National Park broke a record yesterday as well. And then these are the tied records from yesterday. So some of the tied ones. I think that's what that said at the top there.
Huh.
Anyways. So that's for January 12th. Punxsy Mountain. Oh, so these are the records from today. Okay. Or I don't know what they're doing here, but they put Punxsy Mountain at -48 here.
Okay, there we go. So when I said 20 degrees colder, I was bang on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so. So this is yesterday. All right. No records in Manitoba. Oh, there's some Saskatchewan records. Assiniboia, Cypress Hills, Kindersley, Leader.
45 in Leader.
Oh, -46, actually. That'd be -46 in Leader.
Yeah, I suppose that 0.9, you can round that up.
Yep. And then, yeah. And the Yukon had some records. A record.
Tied.
Tied.
49.
One tied record. Nobody else broke any records. Because
Can you imagine that? You're like suffering through all this. And you're like, well, at least we get to break a record. And then it gets to 49.4. Tied. You're like, no.
Tied. That's too bad.
I
Too
didn't
bad
break a
for
record.
you. With a tied record.
All this suffering for nothing. Hey, Hilding. Hilding's talking right now. Wind changed from east to west just now, and temps are dropping again. Hilding had a little bit of a warm-up this morning, and that was nice for him. If you want, Hilding, you could always come on with us. We're just fooling around here. Just fooling around is all we're doing. Okay, now I'm going to tell you why everything's about to change. Okay, I just need 1 second to set this up. Everything's about to change. Here's what I want to go to first. So here we have our jet stream. This is our 500 millibar. This is basically our jet stream, you know, something 16, 20,000 feet kind of up there in the sky. This is where the winds are going. And you can see right now the winds are driving down towards the south. So we got all this cold air coming into the central part of the United States. That's feeding this big storm. There's been tornado outbreaks and blizzards through the United States. There are blizzard-like conditions. We got Ontario getting hammered by snow. Lake effect snow up to 45 centimeters going on right now today. So that's so you can see how this jet stream is delivering all of that. It's allowing the cold air to drop down, and it's delivering the moisture across. We got warm air feeding up from the Gulf here, which is helping fuel this storm. That's classic setup, classic setup. So, but if you look over the next number of days, and here we go. Bam, that storm moves through. And already here, look at this. By Tuesday, see this big bend? What does that mean, Brandon?
Means a bit of a ridging.
And she's going to get warmer.
Here she comes. Up a little bit.
Here she comes. Boom. Boom shakalaka. She's heating up. And there you go. That'll be a nice change for all of us in Western Canada. Maybe not so much for these guys, but that's okay. No one cares about the East. And except if Frankie wasn't in it, nobody would care about the East.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No, that's not true. I was born in the East. and that's why I don't care about it. I came here. No, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, so there you go. Big, beautiful. Oh, that's gonna be so nice. So we're gonna if my temperature next weekend is gonna be 0 degrees, Brandon, that means it's gonna be warm. I mean, we're gonna see the bottom temperature. We always do in Wells when these things happen. We don't go above a zero very often. That's not what we do here. Oh yeah, okay. Please provide feedback on this data set. Make a new website. I am annoyed. Where's that? It's got the first letter. Where is annoyed? I am annoyed. Reason for feedback. Oh, that's not my reason. Okay, I'll complain later. I'm finding myself frustrated. I realized when I had to ask you for links this morning that I've barely looked at Environment Canada's site in like the last 6 months.
I look at it every day. I know
Because I
everything.
don't find it user friendly or helpful for most.
Yeah.
When I want to like make predictive, it doesn't have graphs that I find
Have
are
you
extremely helpful.
have you tried the Visa Web
No,
part
what's
of
Visa
Environment
Web?
Canada, the secret page?
No.
Oh, I should send you that
Okay, yeah, maybe.
because that is the place where you have to have a password and a yeah
So there's two
secret code.
levels of weather data.
Oh yeah.
One for us and one for them, is there?
Mm-hmm.
That's nonsense. And, again, a great forecasting organization. I'm a big fan of Environment Canada, but I just find that its website, when I want to show pretty things to the public, I was talking about this the other day. I'm not going to go back and show you, but it's like if you go to its weather modeling systems, for example, and you click on the maps, and the maps are this big on your screen, you can't zoom in on them. Some of them are all one color, right? So
Yeah.
it's like so it's small. So my eye, without my glasses on, it has a very hard time picking out everything that's the same color when there's all these little lines and little clefts that have wind speed indicator not, in knots, and it's just like it's very busy and cluttered. And then I go to Pivotal Weather, and it's like, well, at least here the color helps your eye, and it's a bigger map, and it's something
Yeah.
that the viewing public finds more able to interpret with their eye, right? So I can
Mm-hmm.
read those other maps, but I don't find that they're very helpful sometimes for um, making video, for trying to convey to average people, because they just see, all they see is like a map full of all kinds of lines and circles and little music notes with wind speed knots, and they can't, and I mean, if you look at the NavCan, the graphic forecast area maps the pilots use, they're kind of like that, busy. However, they do use different colors just to kind of
Yeah.
keep your eye. This green hatching is precipitation. You can look at the map quickly and instantly know what you're looking at. Even if you don't know a whole lot, you just need to learn a few things. So here's that storm going through Eastern Canada right now. Let's look over the next week or two and see what's going to go on. That cold air all the way down to central United States. Our storm moving up and out, and we should have that next storm forming shortly after. Are we still onto a pattern of storms in Eastern Canada and United States?
I think we're more so on a lake effect with the Arctic air taking over there. So yeah, more high pressure. Might get another system off the coast there, pushing into Newfoundland, but that would be
Yeah, okay. So that's a bit of a change from 5 days ago or so,
yeah.
because we had kind of a repeat of this. I mean, we've already had this is the second storm they're having right now in this. Some
Mhm.
models were suggesting that it might be four of those events or three of those events, maybe the fourth one being further out, like this next one seems to be coming through on Thursday.
Yep.
So that's a bit of a change. I'm sure that's welcome because they've been getting absolutely destroyed in eastern half of the country. So here we go. By Friday, you see this coastal weather, and it's trying to push itself in, and it's going to beat back some of that cold weather a little bit. The
Oh
tug
yeah.
of war going on, and look at all these reds. That's warm. That's above zero,
That's
right?
oh yeah. There's a nor'easter there on the east coast there. Yeah.
So they are getting that storm,
Yep.
but its track is a little different.
Oh yeah.
So that is number three then, yeah. But it's coming much more up the coast.
Yep. Right for Frankie there.
Yeah. Whereas I think 4 or 5 days ago when I was looking at forecasts, this might have been kind of almost the exact same track as what it's doing right now. And then the
Yep.
fourth storm that would come up would take more of this almost out to sea track. So some changes, and that's why I got to keep watching us all the time because we always change our opinions. So what we say today is not what we're saying tomorrow. Isn't that a great way to cover all our bases? No, we're never wrong. We just change our minds. So we're back into a pattern in British Columbia of some snowfall, some rain, some coastal weather. Things are going to warm up above, look at this by next week. This is looking like back to the kind of weather we've been having almost
Almost. Yeah.
so far all winter. Boof. Yeah, look at these guys. That is trippy. That high and that low so close together.
Oh yeah.
We'll see if that changes. We'll see if that changes. And there's another round of storms. So there is that fourth round, but again, it's taking that more as it develops. It's developing further north and pulling further out to sea. So 4 eastern storms, 1, 2 going on right now, a third one next week, and then this guy, which seems to be less of a story coming. But I mean, that's the 27th of the month. That's a long ways off. So that can change, right? All this can change. And that would look that is so cool. What a great looking storm that is. So that's kind of what the rest of our month might look like. Might. Right? Okay. Here's the old windy. And now we're coming to the big moment of the show. I gotta move my face over here. When does the cold bugger off? Everyone needs to know this. This is lethal temperature, by the way. Like, I'm not fooling around when I say people should not be going out. I just had nightmares last night when it's Friday night and it's minus 40 across Alberta, and there's people like, well, we'll just walk down to the corner and get some liquor. And or the homeless people who are literally huddling, fighting for their lives under a bridge or something, right? Like the kinds of temperatures where people will die. People will die. And I've known people who froze to death, as we were talking the other day, and gave a couple examples. People die in this weather, right? So, I mean, yeah, it is a good return to old-fashioned Canadian weather. And you got to remember, like, back in old-fashioned Canadian weathers, like when a lot of those records are broken in the 40s and 50s, people were living out in farmhouses in Saskatchewan, and they were tough. They were hardened to this weather, tough. They lived a tougher life. They didn't have TVs with weather data coming in. They made do with what little they had out there, right? So, when there's 15 million people in Canada and we had this kind of cold weather, that's one thing. But we're a much bigger country now, full of people who've never experienced some of this kinds of weather.
Yep.
For whatever reason, right? Because they live in warmer parts of the country, or maybe they weren't born in Canada or whatever, right? I mean, if you live in the eastern part of the country, when I was growing up in central Ontario, somewhere right about where the hand is, I only seen these kinds of numbers a couple times before I came west.
Yeah.
And that's why my cousin froze to death. Because people are like, well, it's cold. Yeah, I'll just tough it out. No, this is a different kind of cold than your average cold, right? So you still got these screaming temperatures going on. And as we've already been reporting lots about what the current temperatures are, so I don't know if we should spend too much time going over all this, but we're still well in the 30s through Alberta, into the nice 20s in BC, unless you're up further north, out by Mackenzie. See Germanson Landing here. I was fighting fire out there, minus 36 right now.
Yeah.
So
I just got this from one of my coworkers up in Camrose there. So these are the current wait times on so for a towing or a winching, it's going to take 144 hours. For battery boosts, lockout, flat tire, or fuel delivery, 72 hours at least. Yeah. Locksmith new key, 4 hours. Yeah.
You go out in this cold and have a vehicle issue. Yeah. I remember a time when we were with our band and we were in Edmonton and our trailer busted and I needed to get a CAA tow. and we had to sit there. The fucking thing broke off the hitch and rolled in the middle of traffic and sit it right in the middle of a four corners, four
Oh,
lanes both ways, right? And
yeah.
like pulling the little teardrop trailer full of instruments
Was that on
out
the
the
Anthony Henday or something?
and and then waiting, and our van had no heat, and it was
Oh yeah.
28 below and 30 below. We just sat in there like for 3 hours, and the tow truck guy finally came. He's like, "I'm so sorry, man. There's," and it was snowing too. Like there was like it was
Yeah.
cold and it was blasting wind and snow at the same time. He's like, "Sorry, I've just had so many calls today." Da 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 da. And it's like, "That's okay. We're tough to it." But yeah, I mean, that's what will happen to people is they'll say, "Hey, that's no big deal. It's Canada. I've done this before," and they'll take that chance of trying to walk to their neighbor's house, uh, 700 yards away and not make it. Like how I
Hmm.
showed you that graphic last night. My cousin Jeremy, he made about 400 meters before he froze to death.
Yeah.
Left the hospital, made it 400 meters. This is like you're not dressed for it. You cannot make it very far. It doesn't matter how tough you think you are. So we'll have a
Yep.
look at this weather. Look at that, you know, how it just drops right down. And these are people down here. I don't know how often Kansas sees that.
Yeah, and they're
Uh,
they're doing like a football game tomorrow or something, Kansas City Chiefs or something. Yeah, they've got the big football game and they're playing in those kind of temperatures.
minus 25. Like I've seen it get cold in Kansas. I don't know if I've ever seen it get 25.
Yeah.
Certainly that Arctic outbreak 2 years ago when it got cold down to Texas, like it kind of is doing now.
Yep.
There was numbers that are close to that, so it's not like unheard of, but it's also not very common for them. You
Yeah.
know, that's that is next level cool. I like to click when I'm looking at temperatures. I often like to click at nighttime. So jump from night to night, because if you jump in the middle of the day, you're like, oh look, it's not that bad, and no, it will be. I like to use the night as our base for a low. So, you know, understand that this won't be the temperature during noon. The sun is still quite powerful. And there you go. By Monday, BC coming out of it. Oh, and even some of Alberta. Not you, but
Hmm.
other parts. But your turn
Yeah.
will come.
It's gonna take till Tuesday at least to see a bump up in temperature here. Yeah. And then
Those
that'll be
21.
when the snow moves in. Mm.
Yeah, that'll feel so nice.
Oh yeah.
Wednesday night. So there's moments where that cold's like, oh, by the way, according to ECMWF, I don't think all models agree though, because GFS is kind of the same.
Yep.
Some of the numbers I'm seeing here as we get close to Friday, and there we go. I mean, there you go. This is what I need to do: is turn off these numbers. They're confusing me. That's what I'm
Mm.
going to do. So 1 degree Friday.
One. There's so that would be like that the Rick Mercer thing, or that video. Everybody shares that with me every year for some reason. That video with Rick Mercer where they do a little skit in living room. Oh, it's gonna be +1 next week, and then it changes to the next day. Oh, too bad. Or yeah, that's funny skit. But for
Don't you
some
just
reason,
love
everybody shares that skit with me every year.
having some obnoxious newfie who thinks he's smart yelling at you all the time? I'm Rick Mercer. Back in like 1990, he was like the coolest thing ever for a couple weeks.
Oh yeah,
But
we
you know,
had
I
him.
still like Rick. But
We
look
had
at
him on
these
our
temperatures.
station last year doing Canada Day. It was pretty good. Oh yeah, he was pretty
He's a
good.
pretty funny guy. Yeah. I'm just making fun of him a little bit because that's what I do. Look at these. These are nighttime temperatures.
Oh yeah.
5 degrees at night. Not for me in Wells. No, no. I'll be below zero. And look over here. Not too far from you. Bam. That's almost like
There's a schnook.
schnooker. Looks like it's schnooking. It's gonna be schnooking for you, man. So there
Schnook.
you go. Alberta schnooks. They're pretty soon, and we got that nice return. So that's what we got for the cold weather this week. It does bugger right off. Does bugger right off. New snow. This will be interesting. Not for us, for you or me, but here we
Oh,
go. That's our storm going on. Stormy going on there. Looks like Oregon and Idaho, and into Wyoming.
yep. Colorado.
You know what's funny is I seen this thing about how many Americans can't name all their states. Like it's like okay, I get it. Like there's a lot of them, and some of them are close together. I don't get them
Yeah.
all right all the time, but mostly. Um, but he's like when someone like thinks this is California or something, or
Oh yeah.
here's Texas over here, like, and you're like seeing some of their answers, and you're like, so you don't know anything about the outside world, you Americans, but you also don't know anything about your own country. You just don't know
No.
anything. You know Taylor Swift is your hero or whatever. You know that Donald Trump is going to save you. Insane. Wow, look at that, Brandon. You were right. There's a return to some snow.
Oh yeah. Next 5 days.
Yeah.
That's Tuesday and a Wednesday. Yeah.
Next 10 days. Oh, yeah. So we're coming back into some normal weather. And except for the east, they're just going to be destroyed all over. I don't know if I agree with these numbers necessarily yet because we've already seen what could happen.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I mean, these are guesses. So if 70 centimeters falls, that number will not say that. But it just gives us an idea that we do have snowfall returning. BC so desperately needs it. Unfortunately, a lot of parts, this has been the case all winter, right? So we have drought conditions continuing up here. We have some drought conditions in the Caribou here. These are the two driest parts in BC right now and have been for some time now. Caribou has not had a bad fire season since 2018, but I think that's going to change next year. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
Just based on how this winter's been going for us. Um, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
How the conditions were at the end of last summer, where I don't think we're really into those drought conditions really in the Caribou until this last summer.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys had the better part of a year before us to fall deeper into that, and that's why we've seen those fires kick off early this year. And uh, I've seen some crazy shit at Donnie Creek, man. Like fire, like that black spruce just boom, like a fucking bomb went off. Like it was so crazy. It was so awesome. So I feel like the Caribou is heading towards the conditions that the Peace was in at this time last year.
Yeah.
And other parts of BC have been seeing rainfall and snow. I mean, we have some snow on the ground here in Wells, but honestly, up to my ankles, this is not. I mean, it's come and gone and settled and melted and fallen. So it's not what's on the ground isn't indicative of how much we've actually had. But
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? This is not what a Wells winter is like at all. I'm just wondering if anybody's actually watching the live stream. I just want to take a quick second and
Okay.
see.
This looks
Um,
weird. I'm gonna post ice folds on the stream in Bangor, Maine. And it looks like pieces of turkey in the
you got a picture there? Hi, Shelly Selinsky. Glad you're with us. And if anybody else is out there, hit that thumbs up there. And I
yeah.
know Hildy and Shelly have already subscribed, so I'm not going to tell them what to do. Here, Brandon's holding it up. I'm just going to pin you so that we can actually see because I'm talking. There we go.
All right. So these are the ice folds in Bangor, Maine.
Banger.
Yes. Looks like pieces of turkey in the river. It looks like.
Shelly's got a question for you. What makes
Oh
the
yeah.
cold recede?
Recede.
Yes, what makes it come
Recede.
and go?
Yeah.
And we kind of touched on it a little bit, but that for us, it's that coastal weather in BC that
Yep.
pushes the
Coastal
poles.
weather in BC, you get a push of Pacific air. And the other thing is you have to have the Arctic high move out as well. So you got to have the whole atmosphere kind of change a little bit for things to move on out because it eventually will move out since it moved in pretty quickly and it's heading south to the USA, most of the USA there and Eastern
Well, that's
Canada.
hard to kind of visualize for a lot of people, but what does polar vortex mean, right? It's like you have this
Yeah.
spinning mass at the top of the earth,
Oh
and
yeah.
and that's cold air that's coming from the atmosphere down into it. So we're getting like,
Yep.
it's not just cold from lack of sun, but it's
Yeah.
actually where it's drawing its energy from, which is it's pulling
Oh
it
yeah.
down from. And when that consistent top of the poles, when that polar vortex breaks down, like we've seen, you see now it's not been the craziest case of warm air rushing into the north that I've ever seen, but
Yeah.
we did have that this time as well. And when I say warm, I don't necessarily mean below or above freezing necessarily in a lot of places, but warmer air coming up into the Arctic,
And
and
then pushing that Arctic air down. Yeah.
and eventually that Arctic air is either going to be combated, it's either going to be forced to warm up as it heads south and into warmer areas. It's
Yeah.
get beaten back by ocean weather, which is the main driving force for North America's weather in general.
Oh yeah.
The Pacific moisture, right?
Yeah.
So it's like what makes the cold come? I mean, and that's what I try to like imagine. It's like literally drawing this air from the upper atmosphere down. That's just so insanely cold, and it's just sitting there in the North Pole doing this, and then it
Yeah.
goes, "Nah, I'm done," and it spills out. You're like, well, how can it be colder in Brooks, Alberta, than the North Pole? Well, in order for Brooks to be that cold, most of the time the North Pole has to be warmer.
That's
That's what
right.
we talk
Yeah.
about climate change too, because you don't realize when you look at the globe. Like I was showing you the other night on Windy. If you look at the globe on the Pacific Ocean side, most of the planet is not cold.
Yeah.
Most of the planet's very lovely right now today.
Oh yeah.
It's just us suffering and some people in Russia and Turkey and Kazakhstan and whatnot. So let's have a look before we go here today. I always enjoy talking weather with you, Brandon. You're the best.
Oh yeah.
There's our storm hitting into Oregon. So
Hitting
I
into
know
Oregon.
there's the Portland weather isn't censored like Brian Schmidt and them. If you follow their group at all, they just make fun of their forecasters. They're such a bitter group. It's so
Yeah.
funny, and bust. Some of the posts on there, bust, but maybe bust for snow. Yeah, but definitely not bust for shitty weather.
Oh yeah.
You'd be getting some of that. And here's our East Coast storm. And I like to do the 3D. In
Yep.
fact, this will give us a good example of what I'm talking about. I'll just hit the temperature for a second while that loads up. Just to give us an example. Most of the world is very warm right now. I'm not saying this is incredibly unusual. Maybe it's a little warmer than it should be or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I mean, just the look of this is a fairly normal thing to see in the wintertime. This
Oh
is
yeah.
what, so you think about how cold it is here, but it's just this tiny little part of the earth. Just tiny. So here's the North Pole, right? And you get that polar vortex just holding in there, sucking air down. And then it would be moving counterclockwise. And then finally, when this warmer air, and you can see some of that warmer air that's been scooching up into here, scooching up into these parts of Greenland, scooching up almost to the North Pole, up by what is the name of this little friggin' place? It's killing me.
Is
Not
that
Iceland.
place Norway?
This place right here where it's illegal to die.
Oh yes, that place. What's that place called? Hold on, I gotta go back through the.
It's got the town names, but it doesn't say what the name of the island is, and that's driving me crazy. That's where the very last Germans surrendered in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. They were weathermen, if you've seen the video I made.
Oh yeah. So
Clandestine
long
weather
year.
operations, dropped off by submarine, hiding out in the Arctic and camping and radio telecommunicating secret weather messages to the Reich because
Yeah.
the Germans did not have good weather reporting. And that's because all the weather stations were owned by the Allies because all the weather comes from. So the Germans, they might have known quite a bit about this direction, but that's not where their weather comes from. So they were at a
Longyear
loss.
Bayen. I think
Yes,
that's how
that's
you
the
say it.
town, Longyearbyen. But there's actually
An island
the
name.
island
Okay.
has a name.
Okay. Well, I got Google Maps on here. So I'm gonna go long year. Right. So that's that
Svalbard.
place.
God, it's been bugging me for days.
Sal Savar
Svalbard.
Salvar. Okay.
Svalbard. You gotta say it like it. Svalbard.
Svalbard.
Yeah.
That's why I'm Scottish.
I think the Scots are like, part Viking, right?
Part Viking, I guess. Yeah.
Like on my, my Johnson side, I think the root name for Johnson actually comes from Jensen.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be Norwegian. So if you're an Irish person named Janssen, you are, and if you go across Europe, you'll see Janssen, Jensen, Johnson.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are all just anglicized versions or Germanized versions of the same names, whatever. Okay, so most of the planet is not that cold. That's the thing, right? That's
Yeah.
what people have to remember. And when you say, well, it's been cold before, or climate change isn't real because look how cold it is. You got to look at the big picture, and you cannot look at the big picture just sitting on your porch. I got after our show the other night, which the trolls attacked me, Brandon. Then videos on my YouTube started getting like all kinds of really nasty comments, and especially my one against the one I made. That's because the Heart Project is not controlling the weather, and the tinfoil people coming on. And so the guys comment. Maybe I should show it to you here. Actually, this is pretty funny. So Eastern Seaboard getting destroyed. We'll come back to that in a second. We'll come back to you. Where is it? Let's see. I'll go to my YouTube here for a second and look at this guy's comment. It's not worth showing, but I'm going to show it anyways. Oh yeah. Here's some of these guys. Nobody agrees with you, Joey. How sad. Look by all the comments the dude took down. So this is the funny part. So people say like hostile attacking things that are directed right at you that are completely over the top. And if YouTube removes those comments, because I don't really take the time to remove comments, if they cross the line, I just have it set to auto. The comments just don't get posted. It's like if they sort it out. So it's like, look at all the comments the dude took down. It's like, obviously I'm wrong because people are vicious and rude. Like if you were right, you would love taking people's abuse, wouldn't you?
Oh, maybe.
I can't even find that guy's comment now. This guy is lying or oblivious. Lies. Thanks to the CIA for sponsoring this video. This is like, honestly, this is me up in Wells. CIA Joe. That's right. Freezing on the brink of overdraft. So the guy's comment can't be seen now. Oh yeah. So that's too bad because I think YouTube probably covered it up because this is it. And I go to click on it and it's not there. So YouTube, I didn't cover it up. But okay. Anyways, so the guy was saying how it's the information age and you can find if everyone's got a phone now, he's saying, and this is kind of like the anti-intellectuals what they say, right? Because they don't want to admit that real knowledge that it takes time of your life to acquire has any value. They don't have it and they're not willing to get it. So they think, well, this is as good as having a library in your house. So see that library in this house? If you read those books, this thing could never make you as smart as what all those books can make you. That's the reality of being literate, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got 1,000 books over there because I think that it's important to have ideas and be smart. Anyway, so the guy's saying, oh, you can, everyone's got a phone these days and gadget, and he's just spread it with emojis. In fact, you know what? I've actually got the comment right here. This is great. We'll go to Facebook for a second. I just realized we're going to be in the pluses next weekend, Martina. She is correct.
Oh yeah.
Where did it go? I was the other night. And
My
it's like
video
this
from today is pretty funny too. Yeah.
We'll look at that in a second. Nobody believes I'm a clown, obviously. Here's this guy. He's like, how much money is dude getting for saying this? Fuck, I wish. But if anyone with common sense can see why they're doing this, anyone with common sense. So if you don't agree with him, you don't have common sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Only that's like cop out, but okay. I want to say this on this channel. This is the age of information. Anyone with a phone, and he's got a little emoji with a phone. So that means that shows you that he knows what a phone is. And the right questions can find out what they're doing. So if you use more emojis, that means you're more right than the other guy. That's how these people work. It's a lot deeper. You can't just walk into HARP anytime. They got to hide some shit. Actually, you can go to the University of Alaska and visit the HARP project any fucking time you want. I'm not making that up. They even have open houses where they take you through everything. And the guy says, well, they got to take some time to hide some shit. Well, you know what? Go to the University of Alaska and study space weather, and you'll get to find out for yourself that there's no conspiracy. Anyway, so these people think that having a phone is sufficient enough that they don't need actual real world knowledge, Brandon. They're better than real world. They're better than people who try to get, those are just idiots and nerds who try to know things. Why would you want to know anything? It's all on your phone anyways. Anyone with common sense can see the government's changing our weather. How could I predict the weather if the government was changing it? And you know what their answer was? I'm in on it. That's why I can predict it. There's a good point that I made, though. Like, how could I predict something that's unpredictable, such as outside human interference? You're in on it. Fucking hell. Oh, yeah, let's look at when our snow comes. Still not on Sunday. Still pretty cold on Sunday. Still not on Monday. Pretty cold. There's the first little storm there in the Pacific. The northern BC trying. Okay, yeah. Still Monday. Not much. We did have some forecasts that were come and gone that said 15, 20 centimeters for Wells on Monday, Tuesday. That's no longer there. But we can see that snow is possible. It is possible. We can kind of hit play now. Any observations you'd like to make here, Brandon?
Yeah, looks like for us here in Berta, especially Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll see that low kind of sneak on by, and you get a little bit of an upslope enhancement, and boom, got snow.
There's that warmer air coming up.
Yep, there's that milder air kind of sneaking in. So you get the interaction of the cold Arctic air, you get the warmer air off the Pacific, and you get some pretty good snow. And we could see some pretty good amount of snow in southern Alberta on Wednesday. There we go.
Wouldn't that be lovely? Southern
and
BC.
BC interior as well.
Some good pulses. Seems like we're really on the edge of it up here, right? So, you know, I don't look at Weather Network. I look at Weather Network even less than Environment Canada. I mean, I look at Environment Canada often because it's got all the warnings and whatnot. And that's often where I just kind of, from there, go on to every other app I have. Weather Network, I almost never look at at all. And it's like, wow, here's your BC forecast for Vancouver and a bunch of yuppie stuff. And it's great. Really good. It's just not for me. Just don't look at it that much. So there's our next storm. It's really a weekend story coming. In conclusion, the cold will be gone. Warmer air is coming. Snowfall will be here. It will be a lovely time of year. I can't wait for this cold snap to be over.
Yeah.
I also can't wait to cook my Korean barbecue ribs. Korean.
Oh, yes.
Korean. I wonder how Koreans feel about that. I don't want to be called Korean.
And I just had French toast, so I wonder how everyone in France is feeling about that.
Yeah, I bet, eh? Naming everything after the French toast, fries, kisses. Popular people, them French. They got a lot of things named after them. So I think that's pretty much all I got to say.
Oh, yeah.
What do you got? You got anything else?
Well, I got a video I shared with you.
Oh, yes. Yes, I glossed over that and said I was going to look at it, and then I didn't. I'm a bad man.
That's what I was up to this morning while you were sleeping.
Okay, I'm just getting it. There you go. I got it lined up. 20 more seconds. Anybody commenting? Lots of Shelly commenting, at least. That's good. keep spreading the knowledge, Joey. I know fishing and lack in other areas of knowledge. Yeah, I don't fish, that's for sure. All I care about when I get a chance to is killing them. I just love killing them. I'm good at it too. I have this thing, Brandon, where like a fish does not live for 20 seconds once I pull it out of the water. It's like instantly beating his head. You're dead. You're mine. When you're poor enough and you subsistently eat, you're not letting that fish get away.
Okay, we have our shirt that is currently frozen. As you can see, it is minus 40 degrees outside. Yeah. Listen to that. Listen to that. All right, let's play a little frisbee here. Ready? Here we go. T-shirt frisbee. Yeah. Ooh.
Nice running.
Oh, I come back.
Okay. Throw it again. I took a branch down with a T-shirt. That's not good. All right. T-shirt. You gotta see me throw this thing. Ready? Yeah.
Comical running.
All right. This is a workout. And it's minus 40. Holy moly.
We'll definitely put that in the show.
It's enough of that. Minus 40, a frozen T-shirt, and listen to that.
You should have like broken on your
Listen
head
to
at the end. Like,
Goodness. Oh. Okay. We have our shirt. It is currently frozen. As you can see, it is.
you just about lost your tooth there, man. That was so
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta stop it. The dog's. I'm trying to hit that little button to stop it, but the dog's bouncing around and making my hand unstill. There we go. That's us for today. Thank you, Hilding and Shelly, and anybody else who might be watching. Hope stay safe out there, stay warm. But as you can see, do I still have you pinned? I do. I had you pinned like the whole time.
Oh. Pinned.
I don't know how long you've been pinned.
I don't know. I haven't been felt like I've been pinned to the wall.
I've been talking the whole time, and it's been your face they've been seeing. It's like, when Wayne leaves Wayne's World in the movie, and then Garth's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Right, Kenny? Yeah. Well, that's good. I got a puppy here who's just so tired of being stuck inside.
Oh yeah.
I put him out there, and he's like, "Nope, I changed my mind." And then a minute later, he's like, "Can we please go play?" I'm like, "No, dude, no. It's not good for you." He's such a sweet guy, though. This dog, and he's like a full spooner in the morning. He's right up in there. He wants to be warm with you. He's right in there. Red Heeler, amazingly smart dogs, and they're crossbred with dingoes. That's how they made the Red Heeler. He's part dingo.
Part dingo.
What a lovely little guy. Well, Brand, I guess I'm going to get back to my day.
All right.
Thanks for chit-chatting about all the weather with me. And
Anytime.
if anybody out there is watching, feel free to hit subscribe. And don't forget to come see us live on Thursdays when 6:30 p.m. often, but 7 p.m. for sure. I got some dog hair in my eye now. The Meteorological Report, Comedy plus Meteorology equals Meteorology. It's our show about how much the weather sucks in Canada. And suck it does, and do it especially right now. So that is me for today. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Brandon. Have a nice night off, nice weekend off of no broadcasting.
I know. I was supposed to be at the radio station right now, but
it's so
nice.
cold that even the radio waves are frozen.
Yeah.
There's no point in trying.
Oh yeah.
All right. Thanks.